Okay, like to welcome anybody to the stream. Looks like I am streaming and good to go. We just barely got the 1.30 update, and so there are a couple of my mods that broke. One of them being the minimal advisor that I like to use, so I'm gonna have to go without that one, which isn't the end of the world. I also have a couple of trucks that stopped working. Luckily, not the truck I'm driving. Otherwise, I'd have to go back to 1.29. So there's that. I also ended the last stream up in Kayenta, Arizona, and because my mod loadout changed, then so did, or my truck got reset. Then now I am back at my garage in Albuquerque. One of the things I mentioned last turn is that I might want to stop by a garage at some point and see if I can add on some more lights, specifically reverse lights. Maybe do a couple of modifications to the truck, but that's kind of secondary here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the freight market and see what we've got in the Albuquerque area. Our best paying jog would be Albuquerque to Roswell, but I think I would almost rather do something different. Let's see what we can. Socorro, Las Cruces, Hobbs. I've been to Hobbs. I've been everywhere in New Mexico at this point. I haven't driven every road in New Mexico. I could do the Holbrook one. Now that's actually a pretty light load, but it is fragile. You know, we're gonna do that one. Okay, so we will be hauling, looks like, cars from Albuquerque, New Mexico to Holbrook, Arizona. And let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so GPS location. Let's go ahead and start up. I'm driving a Peterbilt 389, and in case the stream title didn't make that clear, I am using a realistic economy mod. So it's actually Classes economy mod is the one I'm using. Luckily that did not keel over with the update here, otherwise I'm not quite sure what I would have done. Oh, that's right, I can just drive through it. I always turn myself around. Okay. Okay, is this just so I can sleep here? Okay, so I can just rest at my place. Okay, shows how much time I spend at my garage, huh? And I can also manage the garage. Okay. And I guess I better turn on some headlights here, otherwise I might get a ticket. Okay, I do have a triple screen set up here, so I can see more than you can when I back up. I'm probably going to go ahead and throw up the extra rear view mirrors so that people can see, because otherwise it's just quite a boring shot actually. So looks like we're going to be hanging a right out of here. I do have on my monitor here with the triple screen setup, I can see almost both windows, not quite, but almost. There's the very pillar over here that I can't quite see. I'm not going to make this light, I'm pretty sure, so I'm not even gonna. Yeah. One of the things I am trying to do, I'm going to adjust my microphone here for a second. Hopefully it doesn't bang around too much. One of the things I do try to do is a more realistic shifting, so real big rigs do not, I mean, you don't really rev over 1500 RPM, although something that I've found interesting is that, at least on the European trucks, if you're using an automatic transmission, I've watched some people test driving, specifically Stavros's channel. I'm not sure if I said that right, Stavros. And he does some test driving of some of the new, like the new Volvo, the new Scania, whatnot. And at least on those ones, if you use the automatic shifting, the I shift, in the Volvo, I don't remember what it is in the Scania, then they actually do, like if you put them in performance mode, they'll rev all the way up to like 2,000 or even like 2,500 RPM, I think, which is much higher than I was under the impression you should be revving such trucks. But you know what, if the automatic transmission or the automatic shifting transmission is doing that, then I guess I can't complain too much. But my understanding is that in general you should not rev that high, and there may be some cases where I do go a little higher. Usually it's because I didn't realize how high I was revving, but once in a while, if I'm about to top a hill or something, I will choose to rev a little higher, but I try to keep it a little more realistic that way. So we'll see how I do on that. This is only, I think, my second time ever picking up at one of these truck dealerships, and apparently I've got somebody standing right here. Security guard. Okay, I don't want to run him over, so we'll go ahead and go forward again. So apparently I should have turned a hard right in here, so then I come out that way. Oh, speaking of mirrors, so that you guys can see what I'm doing here, I'm backing up and not doing mirrors. Now I actually try not to use those mirrors. I feel like they're actually easier to use than the real mirrors are, so we're gonna try and keep this. And that's it. I do have advanced trailer on, so let's go ahead and take a look at our load here. First off, let's do a tug test. We're definitely connected. Okay, and then let's go ahead and do a light check. So we've got left blinker. How do I see the back of that, I wonder? Nope, not that guy. Oh, you know what? If I put reverse on. Oh, it is really hard to see the back of these longer trailers. And apparently I don't have any blinkers on this trailer. My guess is because it's an add-on trailer like Jazzy Cat or something, and that's not put in. Although, I mean, Jazzy Cat does a pretty good job at doing his trailer editions, but apparently not on this one. So let's go back to the front now. I do have those lights. Luckily for me, the AI doesn't actually respond to the lights back there. So I ought to just turn this trailer back in and say I'm not going to haul it because it doesn't have all its lights, but I'm not actually going to do that. So, in that case, let's hop in. Looks like we are going to be going out and hanging a left. So, oh, parking brake. Oh, and I actually wanted to take a look at this on my last stream, but I didn't want to stop mid-drive. Okay, so I actually have a 425 horsepower and an Eaton Fuller 13 speed. I knew I had the 13 speed, but I didn't. 425 horses. So definitely not the most powerful truck, especially in the game. Is it not going to move? Why is it not moving? Interesting. Okay. I think this trailer is defective, actually. Okay, we're gonna detach. And the lights just came on. Oh, no. Those are the lights for, hey, pick me up. Okay, so I'm not sure how that was, but it wasn't actually attached. Which is also why my guess is the lights were not working. I see brake lights now. I see blinkers. Okay. Well, for whatever reason... Oh! Duh. I never hit the attach button. That is totally my fault. I mean, it wasn't attached because I didn't attach it. That makes sense. But there you go. Lesson learned. I'm glad it didn't... I mean, I guess I would have just pulled out without it. Now, I guess I'll stop giving Jazzy Cat a hard time on his trailer, because assuming this is his trailer, the lights do work. Now, it could also be another trailer. I was just blaming it on him because it wasn't working, not because I think he does a bad job with his mods or anything. Okay. Let's get on the road here. On the road again. I just can't wait. Over revving. What was I saying about not going to be over revving here? I'm even trying to do progressive shifting, which basically in the lower 4 gears I should be shifting at less than 1500, and then in the higher gears you slowly kind of increase until you get up to maybe even 1700 on the high end. Sorry. Okay, I can... No one is coming. And then I will be hanging a right. There's a car sitting there, and then I should be able to go after I stop. Pre-select for a 5th. Let's get on the road. So this is going to be my entrance up here. I'm not going to go too fast because we've got people stopped and it's a red light at this point, so. Come on, and it is time to drop a gear. And drop another gear, and I'm going to have to stop. Dang. I didn't control my momentum very well. Okay, we'll go a little bit higher on this shift, about there. And then we're going to push it a little farther even on this shift. You know what? We're going to do this. We are going to do... Oh, this isn't the one I think it is, huh? That's the musical road over there. Ah, dang. I thought for a second that was the musical road, but it's not. Okay, Santa Rosa. West towards Gallup. Okay. So, last time on my second delivery, I got a speeding ticket. And with my delivery only being worth $200 and the speeding ticket being something like $220, I ended up losing any money that I would have made to a speeding ticket. So I am going to do my best not to get any tickets this time so that that does not happen again. And we're in a 75 zone, so we've still got a little bit to go. Okay. I might run out of RPMs, or about run out of RPMs by the time I get up to 75. This 9-ton or 6-ton trailer or whatever it is. 9 tons. It's not so bad to haul. Okay, and then we're going to change the dash display so I can... Oh, that's right. I changed my cruise up. I used to have my cruise buttons mapped differently, but I'm trying to get to where I use my retarder more often. So I changed up my mappings and got to get used to that. We're going to go all the way to 76 miles an hour. We're going to push it because we're in a 75 zone, so we're going to go to 76. Living dangerously and all that. Okay, almost there. Okay, let's set a cruise here. And we are ready to go. The markets are changing, we are adapting. I'm not staying on the road very well though, so there's that. So, things to discuss tonight. So I used to have, so I've got a G920 and a Mega Shifter on top of that. So the Mega Shifter's freed up some of my buttons, but the only problem I really have with the G920, and I still debate, is that it doesn't have as many buttons as the G29. Now I've never used a G29 either, or a G27 for that matter. My last shifter, or my last wheel setup, I bought years ago, and it was a paddle shifter. It was fairly simple layout, and I got rid of it years ago as well. And so I didn't buy another shifter or steering wheel set until I bought this game and wanted to get involved. And I only played with a controller for like the first few times I played. So I had a DualShock 4 that I bought about the time I bought this game, maybe a little before that, but not much. Fairly simultaneous. I didn't buy it specifically to play, actually, and I caveat, it was actually to play Euro Truck Simulator 2, not to play American Truck Simulator, but all intents and purposes, same reason. And so I bought the G920, and when I was buying it, I really waffled back and forth because the G29 had 3 more buttons, I think it is. Maybe it's only 2 more buttons. And at the time I was like, but this one's an Xbox and controller, and the Xbox has higher compatibility with Windows, which it does. So I don't necessarily fault that decision, although in this case, I totally brighted him. In this case, the G29 probably would have worked just as well because it doesn't really, the G920 doesn't show up as an Xbox controller anyway. So the interoperability that you get with an Xbox controller and Windows didn't really matter. So anyway, I had this DualShock 4 controller, and I had gone back and forth on whether I wanted to get an Xbox One controller or the DualShock controller. And after reading some reviews, I don't own either console, so I don't have any dog in the fight on that front. I found out that at the time, it was the Xbox 360 controller had a horrendous D-pad, and I was like, well, I'm going to be using the D-pad, and I didn't want to have a bad D-pad. So at the time, I bought the DualShock 4 because it had a great D-pad. I also found out that it had a gyro, and it had the touchpad as well, which I didn't know at the time. So, hit the mic. So there were quite a few advantages there over the Xbox 360 controller. But what I would do is I would actually use it, and I would latch it onto my shifter down here, and I would then use that for extra buttons, for splitters, for all of that kind of stuff, which I wouldn't have had otherwise. Sorry, just a second. I'm going to adjust my sound. No, that's not going to work. Anyway, so that's what I used it for, the splitters, the retarder, the all kinds of things. And I actually like the setup, and I kind of wish I still had it, and we'll get to why in a minute. But a little while ago, I had gotten some Xbox One controllers, which overall, especially with the interoperability in Windows, I think I like the Xbox One controller better. Oh, I lost some speed there. Didn't realize it was such a hill. Anyway, so with the interoperability, I think it's actually a better setup. I still miss some of the functionality of the DualShock 4, but I've still got that. The reason I actually got the Xbox One controllers is I had bought a wireless adapter for my DualShock 4, and I seem to have lost it. Now the wireless adapter is like $24 or something like that, and so for the price of another wireless adapter, I could buy, a good portion of an Xbox One controller, or I could buy an Xbox One adapter and then look at buying controllers after that. And after looking into it, the Xbox One wireless adapter could support up to 8 controllers or 4 controllers with audio, whereas the DualShock 4 only supports 1, which means I would have to buy a wireless adapter for every one of the DualShock 4 controllers I'd buy. So not only is it a slightly more expensive controller, it also requires an adapter for each one, and ends up being significantly more expensive for computer usage. So I bought a couple of Xbox controllers and a wireless adapter. And then I tried to do a stream a little while ago, and I actually succeeded in doing the stream. But I sat down to do the stream, and I had that Xbox controller set up the same way I had the DualShock 4 set up, so I could have all of those things mapped. Now that I have the Mega Shifter, it's not as necessary, but it still comes in handy. And what I've actually done at this point is I have a USB 10 key that I've got looking at, so it's got the 10 key on there, and I've got stickers put on it with mapping and all kinds of stuff going to it. So I am almost there already, huh? Let's go ahead and start slowing down a little bit. This is, oh, actually let's start slowing down some more. We're going to use the retarder as well. I mean, as long as I have it. Okay. And this is my turn here. Anyway, so I started using it, and my steering wheel was dead. Now, this is a force feedback wheel, and there was absolutely no feedback, which made it much more difficult to drive. And for that stream, and I think the next stream after that, I still had it hooked up to it, and I had a much harder time driving without the feedback, without this, even just the fact that it just felt there was no resistance hardly in my hand as well. And so I really miss that, and I'm pretty sure I still haven't figured out how to get around this. And if anybody knows, the Xbox controller was stealing the force feedback. I could see it rumbling and feel it rumbling and stuff, but the feedback that should have been going to my wheel, it was sending to the Xbox controller instead. I never had this happen with the DualShock controller. Now, it might have just been driver issues, frankly, on that, because the drivers were not as supportive as the Xbox ones. So it could have just been something as simple as that. But anyway, so I ended up abandoning that idea and going back to my 10 key, which I had already tried a little bit before, but then I decided I'd try the Xbox controller. Well, the reason I bring this up is for Christmas, if anybody was paying attention at the Black Friday sale, the Steam Link went on sale for $5, which it does periodically, and the Steam controller went on sale for $35. So I spent $45 and got those for Christmas, and I've thoroughly been enjoying them. But the Steam controller is a really interesting controller, and I'll come back to that. Originally I got started that when I first got the game, I was playing with controller, and at the time I didn't know all that much, but I've learned since getting the Steam controller. There's actually a guy, Existential Egg is the channel, and I'll link that here in the comments. Existential Egg has a channel that, or actually I'll put a card up for his channel, sorry, for Existential Egg, but he has a whole ton of videos about configuring the Steam controller, and in the process, much of what he does you could also use to configure a non-Steam controller as well, an Xbox or anything like that, and so there's a lot of possibilities there. And so it's gotten me thinking that maybe the game would be much more playable if I had known more about the capabilities of Steam for configuration. And so this guy's channel, just watching it, makes me kind of want to try out doing so. Now, on the flip side, obviously I've spent lots of money on having a steering wheel and having a mega shifter and whatnot, so I don't actually want to go back to playing with a controller, but there's a part of me that kind of wants to try it, and try playing with a controller using some of the capabilities that you get through the Steam configuration utility. So it looks like my drop-off location is way off in the corner over there. In fact, I don't know if I'll be able to see it, but it is back there somewhere. So I have got to back it. Now I know how to do this, I think, because of watching Squirrel teach me how to back a trailer. So one of the places he teaches is very similar to this spot. So I think what I need to do is go over into that corner. So I'll swing a bit this way, swing over into the corner, and then I've got to back all the way around that U-bend. I can do it in 2 goes if I need to. If I do really well, which I don't think I will, I can actually probably do it in 1 go. So let's go ahead and I'm going to hit my dash display where I can see my gears, and I hit the microphone again, so there's going to be a good thump right there in the recording. And we will start swinging this way, and I cleared that barely. And then we will swing it back over here and see if we can get forward a little bit. Okay, now as I look at this, so last time I did this, I backed it from this view, and we are going to try, except that I'm tired apparently. Is that what? I heard the yawn a minute ago and I didn't realize what it was. How long do I have before I need to go to sleep? Okay, I've got 2 hours to make this parking job. Ah, crap. Not mirror adjustment. That's not what I want. Okay. So I've got 2 hours to make this delivery before I'm supposed to be going to sleep. So we're gonna go ahead and crank it this way. See if we can get my trailer moving around the way it needs to go. I think I'm already gonna have to take a second take at this because I'm not gonna clear that trailer over there. Maybe I am. Actually, I am. Let me make sure real quick. Hop out. Take a second look. I'm totally gonna do that. Okay. So we're gonna straighten it out now. Okay. Keep backing, and then we are gonna pull forward into this spot, which is probably where I should have pulled forward into anyway to begin with, actually. Okay. Now, I want to get my... Okay, let me think about this. Okay. So what I want to do is I actually want to start... I want to hit this spot right here with my trailer. So I still need it to go farther in. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to let it keep going that way some before I start correcting for it. And I think I overdid it. Okay. And I killed it. Okay, I have a hard time seeing that far back. And I'm still too steep. Okay, so we are going to go forward some. And we're gonna get a little bit of it out of there. Okay, something like that. Okay, how close am I getting? Okay, it's probably time to start swinging it a little bit that way. And you know what? I totally messed this up already. We're gonna start over. I mean, not completely over. But we're gonna get over here. Okay, we've got a better start now. So let's go ahead and straighten this out a bit. And I thought that 2 hours was going to be easy, but I've used up 10 minutes at this point, I guess. That's not too big of a deal. Let's get you swinging. Get you swinging some more. Okay, I'm going to stop and I'm going to get out and look again because I think I am actually about where I want to be. I'm doing pretty well. Okay, we're going to keep it coming back just a little bit more, and then we're going to swing it hard. And I think I might be too close. I didn't start swinging soon enough. Or not. I'm pretty happy with this so far. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna make it in one go, so we will go ahead and pull up this way. Okay, this is where I kind of need some rear lights more, because I'm using my cheater mirrors there. Because my own mirrors are so hard to see in the dark. And I always end up delivering at night. It doesn't matter. Like, I always seem to be delivering at night. And maybe that's just the way I remember it. But, ooh, we're getting there. No, I've just got to watch my truck here. So I don't end up against the wall with my truck. Because I very well could do that. Ah, dang it. Okay. My tires, and I'm still not quite there. And I hit the wall. Oh no, I'm thinking right. Okay. And we're gonna pull up like that. And now I'm gonna take it back a little bit farther. Okay. How are we looking? Well, we're about exactly parallel to where we need to be, which means I should be able to serpentine and get in there, I think. Assuming I do my serpentine right. So that way a little bit. Go forward. That way a little bit. Okay. How close am I on the front there? Let's go forward a little bit more. Okay. So now, crank it a little bit that way. Follow it back some. This is going to take a couple of tries. I am closer than I was a minute ago. Oh, it's going to take it? Really? I can straighten this out. I've got this. Okay. Okay. Let's go forward a little more. And then, how close am I again? Probably got some more space, I totally do. Okay, now, let's get it back just a little bit more. We are almost there. Okay. And okay, what am I trying to do now? Oh, I know what I'm trying to do now. Okay. There we go. How does that look? Immensely better than before, that's for sure. Okay, that's doable. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm gonna take a screenshot here in case I don't get another chance to take a screenshot. So, or if I forget to take another screenshot. No, I do not want to go back to profiles. I want to go to Photo Studio, photo mode. Okay, that is not the view I want. We're gonna go, let's see, how is it that I go down? Nope. Something like that. I kind of like that. Okay. So, now I've got my screenshot. I'll go ahead and drop this trailer. And we should be good to go. Excellent. Still level 7. 225 experience. Okay, let's see. I'm going to see if I can get some kind of a longer thing going on. I'm going to be back in just 1 second here. What did I end up? Never mind. We'll just... let's see. Let's go for a little bit longer than the last one. Okay, job market. Okay, not quick job. I don't want a quick job. I want a freight market. So currently I'm in, I don't know, between Gallup and Holbrook. So either of those are probably okay. Let's see what we've got in Holbrook. I don't necessarily want to go back to New Mexico yet. Let's see what else we have. If I go to Gallup, what is there in Gallup? To Kingman. I haven't been out to Kingman yet in this game. I go up to Page. You know what? We might do the Page one. You know what? We're going to push ourselves. We're going to get this bulldozer. Our truck only has 425 horses. Except it's also... I don't know if I'm ready to do a heavy haul yet. Definitely make it an interesting trip. Yep, we're gonna do it. Okay, let's go pick up a 44-ton bulldozer. Okay. Oh, parking brake. Okay. I guess what jobs do they have right here if I were to check? Because that could be freight market. Flagstaff. That could actually be a fun one. It's not very heavy though. I mean, that's not the end of the world. You know what? Let's go to Flagstaff. We'll go ahead and do this guy. That guy pays significantly better. I don't really want to go back to New Mexico. Okay. You know what? We will do this. We will. Okay, we're gonna do this guy. Where is he located at? Oh, look at that. Oh, and then I've got to sleep as well, huh? So, once I get this picked up, I need to go. That's actually another good reason. Because that other one may very well not be there anymore by the time I go to sleep. Oh, you guys can't see me backing up, but I'm just backing up to the trailer. It's a pretty straight shot, so I'm not too worried here. Hopefully I don't. I say as I end up not getting it straight. Okay, and I will remember to attach the trailer this time. And then, let's see, brake lights work, blinkers work. Okay, we were good to go. And actually, okay. So, first thing is I need to find a place to sleep. So let's head out of here. And that's probably my closest place to sleep. If I go any farther, I may not make it. So we'll just go to this guy right here. Except that's going to get me going on the freeway the wrong way. Okay, I'm going to have to go to sleep over here then. We'll go to Gallup. And we will see, how's the easy way to get to that guy? Because I could go down to the hotel there. I have a feeling I'm going to want to do this one. Yeah, we'll go there. Okay. Let's do this, and hopefully we don't go too long without sleeping. I'm going to pull that up so I can watch my sleep. This is definitely heavier than the last load. Another truck. So I'm going to not be doing progressive shifting on this one, otherwise I don't think I'm ever going to get going very fast. In fact, we're going to be pushing it hard to pull this heavy of a load. Pre-select for 5th. Got some engine feedback in the steering wheel. You can feel it pulling. Oh, gonna go off the road. So, one of the things I was also thinking is whether I could use the Steam controller as a secondary pad for all the other functions. And that got me then thinking to see if I could have the Steam software configure my steering wheel, because one of the things the Steam controller does that the Logitech software doesn't do is it allows for action layers and action sets and mode switches and all those cool features, double presses and single presses and long presses and turbos and just all kinds of things that you can't do, that I'm really having a lot of fun doing, both with Steam controllers as well as with my Xbox controllers. And now I actually have found out recently that you can connect the DualShock 4 to the Steam Link with Bluetooth, and it works great. So anyway, all these things that Steam is able to do with a controller that you can't do with most controller configuration utilities, I'm totally taking my half out of the middle here, or out of their side. Anyway, so lots of really just cool stuff that you can do in configuration that I wish I could do. The Steam controller I could obviously do, but I think I'd run into the same problem I did with the Xbox controller, in that it takes over the rumble or the force feedback, and so then I don't get any force feedback. Actually, let's turn that guy back up. Gotta remember that I have an insanely heavy load on here. And he's actually a pretty long load too. I don't know if I can't pull this in fifth. Can I pull it in fourth? If I lose too much momentum, I don't think I'm going to pull it at all. Okay, so we're going to hold it about there until we pull it out on the flat. Let's go. My 13 speed, my 425 horses are definitely working. And we are going to start splitting at this point. Normally I would not split here, but this is a pretty heavy load. So we're going to use all the gears we have. And I have to pull in for the vehicle weigh station, which is okay, because that's where... Oh no, this is a different one. I may not make this. And you know what? What I mean by is I may not make this before I sleep. Anyway, so I got thinking about using the Steam controller as a secondary controller, all kinds of options, but the problem I have is I don't think I'm willing to give up that force feedback. Okay. Man. Oh, you know what? The sun's about to come up, huh? Monday, 5:38. Again, I wish I had my little bar at the bottom, the minimal user interface thingy. That is... Oh, it's straight ahead. That comes in way handy. I'm a big fan. And let's go ahead and weigh. Oh, that's not what I meant. You. 65 tons. We've got to push it for all we can, because I've got 3 minutes to go get some sleep. I'm not going to make it. I'm totally going to get tickets for going over. Zero minutes, 25 miles per hour. I'm speeding because apparently that's 15 through there, because I don't need to get up to speed to get on the freeway or anything. Come on. I'm almost to my turn off here where I'm gonna sleep. Is there anything close where I can sleep at? There is not. I mean, that guy's a little bit closer, but after I take into account... Yeah, I don't think it actually ends up. Oh, maybe it does. Okay, we're gonna go there instead. Can I get rid of that guy? Let me get rid of that guy. Okay. And 6 high. Okay, so I'm gonna be exiting at the next exit, so I'm not even going to get up to speed. The other thing is I am not watching my fuel. Apparently I'm still okay though. Okay. Let's see if I can get off the road before I get a ticket. I am not holding a lot of hope for that, but you are getting tired. You should find a place to sleep. Working on that. Do I have a stop? Oh, I have a stop. I may not. Oh, crap. I'm not stopping. Ah, I am stopping. I'm not going to make that light. Okay, we are going to have to do a crawler gear out of here. We're never going to get going on anything less than that. Well, I am over-revving like crazy. But let's see, there is a... Oh, I totally didn't put it in the right place on my map. This actually needs to be for that. Huh. We'll see if this is actually any faster than that other option. We'll see, because there's got to be a hotel down there somewhere. Oh. Using my retarder to maintain speed here. And then I assume I hang another right. And this must be the place. No, that's not the place. Where is this? Where is a hotel? Is that a hotel? Truck wash, shopping center, hotel? Looks like that's exactly what that is. Okay. Oh, retarder activated. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in here. Making grilling great again, huh? Uh-huh, there's my spot. Okay. And I'm going to take this end spot because then I can... I think that we did this without a ticket. Look at that. I did not think we were going to do that without a ticket. Okay. So we'll park, turn off the engine, and we're going to hop back into our... Oh, look at that. I can like sleep and stuff. Okay. Let's get some sleep. Okay. So, go ahead and flip back out, and I get to drive during the daytime. Look at that. So, let's go ahead and start the engine before I accidentally hit enter and sleep again. I'm gonna snap another photo, and I can decide which one I want later. Also need a drink. Which view do I want? I'm going to stick with kind of the theme of last time. Okay, we'll do something like that. Screenshot it. Let's get back on the road. Okay. So I swear, I always choose to do the air brake simulation, and I swear it doesn't do anything. I don't know, maybe I just don't hit my brakes enough to notice. But I feel like when I first start the truck, there should be a time in there where I've got to wait for the pressure to build up. Okay, let's get going. Missed my gear. Okay, this looks like I kind of have to drive through town here, which isn't the end of the world. Except that I'm kind of seem to be out here at a much busier time than previously. Oh, and I killed it. Ooh, I turned that one too sharp. Don't really need my lights on anymore, all with it being mid-afternoon and all. So I have apparently I should get there a couple hours. Whoa, a couple hours before I have to stop and rest. Speed limit here is 35, so I don't want to get going too fast, especially with a red light up ahead. Cool. Oh, there was a mechanic there that I could have gone and gotten my truck modified at. A little late now that... Oh, come on. Oh, man. Barely stopped on that one. We're gonna inch up just a little bit. Alright. So, I guess as I continue on, the Steam controller could be an interesting one. I just got to figure out how to have a secondary controller not take over the force feedback, because that's not something I'm willing to give up. I'll keep using this guy if that's the case. Although, in reality, I don't know how much I gain. I mean, I used to have my retarder mapped down there, but now I've got it on my steering wheel anyway. And that's the only one that was far enough away previously that I felt like I wasn't using it as much as I ought to. Now that it's closer, I think I'm getting the hang of that now. It used to be my cruise up and down buttons, now it's my retarder up and down buttons. So, not too big of a change, but I mean, in the one case I was speeding up, now I'm slowing down, but... Oh, wrong way. Okay. Go ahead and start splitting at this point. I'm not anywhere near 65, so I'm not really in risk of speeding. You had better let me in here. Thank you, boss. I cut him off. I totally cut him off. He did not let me in, but I'll pretend like he let me in. Okay. So, we will be hanging let's see, we will be heading up. Which highway are we going to be hopping on? At Albuquerque, we'll be going up the 25, so Interstate 25 in Albuquerque, huh? We can do that. Almost at the end of 7 High. And 8 Low. We are slowly, ever so slowly getting up to speed here. Huh, I hadn't noticed that before. Interesting greenery over there. Apparently I'm tired, not just my driver. Not just my avatar, me. But, so as always, I've been listening to a podcast. And specifically it was on my last long distance commute that I was listening, but had a conversation last night based off of a Reddit post I saw, as well as some discussions, some philosophical questions about morals. Not questions, discussions. Anyway, last night I had a discussion about, what should morality be based on? And it's a discussion that's been continuing into today. Most religions try to claim some kind of, or many religions, I won't say most, some kind of divine morals, like morals set down by God. As such, they never change. Although the truth of the matter is that they do. I mean, even so-called God-given morals change, and so they are changing, and they change with the times. They may change more slowly than other ones do. They may evolve less quickly, but they do still evolve. We're gonna go a little bit. I need to get over. I'm not going that fast. Anyway, and so as we look at the changing morality of our times, if you want to call it that, what should morality then be based on? And my argument, and I'm not the one who originally proposed this, but I do think that it's maybe a good place to start. Sorry, just a second. Okay, I just hear like some kind of a side noise. I thought maybe it was something in my house. Anyway, that the first rule of my morality as it's evolved is kind of like the Hippocratic Oath, although that's kind of a not really used anyway. But first, the idea of first do no harm. That beyond anything else, you should attempt to, sorry, I'm adjusting something over here, that you should attempt not to hurt others. And so there's that on the front, and if what you are doing causes suffering to others, then I would argue that it's not moral. No. Oh, come on, really? Oh, I almost did not make that. Anyway, if you cause harm to others, for instance, had I slammed into the back of him there, then, and I guess purposely cause, because now that would have been, well, preventable. That would not have been my intent. So if you do something with the intent to, or the knowledge that you cause harm or suffering to others, then I would argue that that's immoral. It's not, even if it's helping you, if it's doing it at the expense of someone else, that's immoral. And so that's probably my first measure right there is, are you hurting other people? Are you hurting other people? If you're hurting yourself, that's your choice. And so it could be argued that you have the choice to hurt yourself. I mean, it's you, and if you want to hurt yourself, you can hurt yourself. But hurting someone else is a completely different story. So if what you're doing is hurting someone else, then that's immoral. My second rule, and this is contingent upon the hierarchy of rules, is if it increases the well-being of somebody, whether that's yourself or whether that's somebody else. So if it increases the well-being of someone, whether that someone is you or someone else, without hurting somebody else, it seems like a pretty moral decision. Another way to put it is if it increases happiness without causing sorry, traffic's a little bad, keeps distracting me here. So if you're able to increase the happiness of yourself or others or groups or however it is without causing pain or suffering or harm to others, seems like a pretty good deal. Seems like it should be, that would be what I consider a moral, something that is moral. So, okay, we are going to be going to the left here. Okay, I'm also going to get rid of this guy. And I need to drop half a gear. And turn off my retarder. I could probably drop another half a gear. Let's get going. Actually, I do not want to do that because I'm just going to have to be merging back anyway. And then I actually want to merge on over. See if we can get up to speed here. We've got a while on this 25. We'll see if we can get up to speed. North to Santa Fe. Am I completely... Oh, in my head, I totally had Santa Fe south of Albuquerque. I totally had that wrong. Anyway, so the morals, and that seems like a pretty good basis for universal morals. Now, what is considered causing harm? What is considered bringing well-being? Those are discussions that can be debated and had and whatnot, but the premise, I feel, is fairly good. The other thing that came up in the podcast that I was just listening to is it was actually a broadcasting of a live podcast or a live event, and so they had a question and answer section at the end in which members of the audience could obviously pose questions, and one of them made the comment of what about drugs and mind-altering substances, as it ended up being phrased. And the host, Sam Harris, and his guest, which was Ben Wertheim. Oh, it was the same last name as the guy in Hollywood. Who is having all of the accusations against him right now. Oh, not the same first name, mind you, but the same last name. And so, I am getting over. I'm totally cutting you off. I'm sorry. Anyway, so the guest, they both talked about the fact that we as people partake of mind-altering substances all the time. Now, part of that is that anything you partake of or choose not to partake of alters your state of mind. There's a popular phrase now, and I like to use it, I think it's a good phrase, of being hangry, and the idea being that just being hungry is enough to make you more easily get angry. And so hangry can often be solved by just eating food. You know, it's something that while it might bother you normally, the fact that you're hungry and possibly tired makes it more than just bother you. It makes it make you mad. And so eating or not eating alone can alter your mind. And so this idea of mind-altering substances, although it's a good generic term, anything that you do or do not eat could alter your mind, or alter your state of mind. I think of, if my kids are sick and they wake me up in the middle of the night, I'm not in a very good state of mind, and oftentimes I may act in ways which in the middle of the day I would not do. Now I try to curb that, and I try to, be considerate and realize, there's probably a reason for it. But the truth of the matter is, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm not at my best. And there are many such situations that can cause similar responses in people, can have their state of mind altered. One of the other things, now I have no experience here, other things that can alter your state of mind are meditation or hypnotism, where it's not necessarily a substance that's altering your mind, but you're definitely in an altered state of mind. And if, I haven't done meditation per se much. I've tried and I'm not good at it. But I have done other things where I focus on something like a fan noise or something like that, or I won't say that I haven't meditated at all, but oh crap, come on. But I don't have a lot of experience at it. Ooh, that's like a Freightliner FLB, I think. Anyway, but both of those things can put me in an altered state of mind. Now, the truth of the matter is, if I get hangry, if I get angry, if I get frustrated, at that point I'm in an altered state of mind as well, because the hormones that are, coursing through my body have altered my state of mind. They've changed the way that I act from my, I guess you would say, normal state of mind. So even just getting mad can be a mind-altering experience, where the state of mind is different than it would normally be. And there are certain substances that people can take to regulate. I mean, if you suffer from chronic depression, then that's an altered state of mind from what would be your normal state of mind. Now, I say state of mind like 50 times, but it may seem fairly normal because it lasts long periods of time, but if you weren't in an altered chemical state, that would not be the way that you felt about things. That's the whole nature of being depressed, is that you're feeling, because of a lack of hormones of the right type to make you feel good, you feel unhappy. So you are different and behave differently than you would normally do, were that not the case. And then it can be argued, well, what is a normal state of mind? Because our states of mind change so often that maybe it's hard to say exactly what is the normal state of mind and what is an altered state of mind. For instance, if I get upset with my kids, if I get mad at my kids, or if I get mad at my spouse, or if I get mad at anybody for that matter, then I'm going to act differently than I would normally, both towards them as well as to others, and I'm going to respond to new developments differently than I normally would, because I'm not in my normal state of mind. I'm different at that point than I would normally be, and it could take some time to get back to what I would consider normal. And usually in those situations, I try and tell my kids to just, just give me some time. I'm sorry. I'm not in my best self right now, and give me some space. And sometimes that can be hard to do, whether you're tired or hungry or any number of other factors. Hey, I finally got up to speed. We've been on this highway for a long time, and I'm finally up to speed, just in time for a hill. So last night I got in an argument, and it was strangely enough, or funnily enough, or whatever the term is, it was actually over a random guy on the internet. On Reddit, someone posted about some relationship problems, and I got in a discussion about those and about morality and different things involved. And during the discussion, it's some random guy on the internet. I don't even know who it is. He's no relation of mine. I have no connection to him whatsoever, except for having read his post. It's not like I even know the guy. And yet, as I went in, then I found myself vehemently defending him and his position, and feeling personally attacked that this defense of him was not shared. And so I was very, very upset, and continued to be upset. This was 1 o'clock in the morning. Again, I wasn't woken up in the middle of the night for this, but I was still awake and not at my best self, and very mad over this argument. And as I've looked at those feelings since then, I've come to the conclusion I felt that it was a personal attack, because I can understand where he's coming from in this situation, and find that I myself might feel very similarly. Oh crap. Might find, whoa, sorry, that was not the button I meant to push. If I were in that same situation. So at the time I did not make this connection, but I was able to go back later and say, okay, why am I so connected to this guy? And what it ended up being is that, were I in the same situation, I think that I would respond similarly. And so despite it not being me, I identified it with him, I empathized with him, and I then reacted accordingly. And I think the person with whom I was speaking identified with the other person. And so we ended up, despite this not being us, despite it not being someone that we had even ever known, we both, I'm totally doing it. We both felt very strongly, and I think it was because we could see ourselves in that situation, and found out that we would probably be on different sides of the coin were we in that situation. And so, sorry, I'm taking off my retarder. So despite that not being us, it felt, my brain didn't understand that it wasn't me. My brain reacted as if it were me, because it felt like something that I would do. And so this disapproval about the actions of this person, sorry, hey, sorry, fair warning, I thought I had something on that should have been reading out the chat to me, but apparently it is not. So I've been listening in with one ear here, and I haven't heard a thing. I agree. I on the front that intoxicating substances should be age restricted. And there's an interesting thing, and I guess maybe I'll get into this here. Just a second. Let me figure out why it is not reading off the chat, because it ought to be reading off the chat. wonder if I just don't have the correct audio source chosen. No, that's not it. Okay, I definitely hear that. Okay, I'm going to do a test and see if it picks it up. Sorry. Here I've been babbling on. Okay, if somebody's there, could you go ahead and type something in the chat? And I want to see it read off to me what I just typed. Could you maybe type and I'll see if it reads off what you type or what you chat? Because it should be. I agree though on the intoxicating substances. I think that they should be age restricted or age controlled. Beyond that, as an adult, as long as you're not going back and I don't know who is here on my. Oh, come on, grab that, Gary. Who was here as I talked earlier. But as long as you're not hurting anybody but possibly yourself, that's your prerogative to hurt yourself as an adult. But as long as all you're hurting is yourself, then there should be no legal restrictions on that. Now, we could argue about whether it's only hurting yourself or not. But assuming that's the case, that should be your choice. Now, again, as a minor, that's different, and I think that I think that that's a good place to be. You know, we could argue about what constitutes age appropriateness and things like that, but I think that that's a good premise to go off of. Sorry, fair warning, and Thomas Campbell. I did not see your chats. I got all caught up in my driving and didn't catch it at all, and it did not read it off to me. Thanks. I do like the truck. It is bone or almost bone stock at this point. I want to get over to a mechanic and see if I can put some more lights on it. Any decision I make about modifications is a big decision with Class's real economy mod, because I don't get money like you do in the standard game. Like this delivery I think is going to net me, well, is going to gross $500, take out the cost of gas and stuff, and that's very quickly going to become much less. Okay, let's go ahead and see if I can nail this parking job. I'll go ahead and straighten it out some. Oh, look at that. I am like way better than I thought I was on where I'm located. I'm still going a little bit off though. We're gonna correct that way just a little bit. Okay. I think I'm going pretty straight back now. Okay. Oh, wrong way. And we're there. See if we can take a look. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and snap a screenshot real quick in case this is the one I want to use, and then we'll drop the delivery. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at my stream here, checking the stream health while I'm stopped. Okay. So let's go ahead and go into photo mode. And I think we're gonna back up. Let's come over here. Actually, I don't like the avatar's faces being in the shot, because I feel like of everything involved, they're probably the most realistic. So let's do something like that. Yeah, that looks good. We'll try that. Okay, now back to the delivery here. I'm in place. And let's go ahead and drop the trailer. 398 miles for $580. And I'm closer to level 8. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and try and do one more delivery here before we call it a night. So, oh, is that the interesting? Okay. See, job market, freight market. Starting up here, what do I have available? Go down to Santa Fe. What if I get one to Farmington? Let's actually see if I can get one to Farmington. So I have yet to drive that road. And nothing. Nothing to Farmington. Okay, what about anything else that direction? Well, I might just do a quick one like this one to Santa Fe. That'll be a fun one anyway, because it's kind of heavy, it's kind of long, but it's not a very long trip. So we are going to grab that one. The other option would be... Where did I just... Okay, we're going to go see if there's anything available at this location. If there is, I'll just take that, because then I don't have to drive somewhere to get it. Okay. See what we've got here, if anything. Okay, let's see what we have. We can go to Hobbs. That's actually a pretty long run. Okay, what if I... What was that other job? From here, where was the job to Santa Fe? That is GPS location. How far do I have to drive to get that guy? He's not that bad. Across town there. Let's go pick him up. We're gonna do that. I have a hard time taking something that pays that much less. I wonder if there's a... there is. We're totally gonna hit that guy first. Okay. Let's see if we can move there quickly here. Whole different driving an empty truck. So it's interesting that we as a society here in the United States, we tend to try and control these substances that in many cases may not be hurting anybody else besides the one who's using them. I mean, you know, obviously the decisions that are being made about cannabis currently, and in many of our states, my state not being one of those that's you know, coming into the 21st century on that front. We're starting to rethink this idea that, you know, controlling behavior that as an adult we should be allowed to make. Although, you know, we seem to be mostly okay with people drinking alcohol, assuming they do it in, what's the word I'm looking for, responsibly. Although, again, my state seems to be one of few exceptions on this front. I'm in Utah, by the way. And so we seem mostly okay with people partaking of alcohol, yet cannabis is somehow not okay. And, you know, there's lots of history behind those decisions. But we as a country are starting to come around and say, well, maybe as long as you're not hurting anybody but yourself, you should be allowed to do that. And many countries out there, again, we are not one of those, have decriminalized drug use, you know, pretty much across the board. And instead, if somebody has a problem with it, they're treating it as an addiction, a mental health issue, not as a crime, which I feel is a much better position to be taking on the matter. As you know, most addictions, criminalizing them isn't going to make them go away anyway, and actually keeps people from getting the help that they need to overcome the problem. Instead, they end up hiding the problem, because if they let it be known, they face both social and oh, I was still up. I'm gonna stop like way back. Anyway, both social and criminal charges or criminal fallout for that addiction, and so then they end up not getting treated and only making the problem worse. Okay, so right here. Okay, so there is where I need to go. Truck works, huh? Let's see what we've got here in the way of throwing some lights on this. Park it. Okay, first off, let's service it. See how much money I spent on services. $767, total to pay $594. Okay, we'll do that, and then we'll drop back and we will see if we can get some lights. Let's see, so that's going to be cab accessories. One of the things I don't necessarily, I picked up I'm a trackball user, and okay, first off, I've got a new trackball, and one of the things I don't like, it's the newer Logitech, what is it? Oh. Okay, I'm not finding the model number offhand here. Anyway, I've used the M570 for a long time, but one of the things this one does, which I'm not a huge fan of, I love it during normal usage, and I don't want people to think that's not what I'm saying, but it doesn't in like the DPI is lower, and so in game it ends up being really slow moving it around, specifically in the menus. When I'm outside, you know, looking around, I don't notice it so much, but how do I put on an arrow kit? Because that might be nice to have as well. Let's see, where's the arrow kit? Is it that guy right there? well, I'm gonna sink my money really quickly if I start doing that kind of stuff, huh? Okay, let's get back to what I was here for. And that is no arrow kit lights. And then we're going to add, man, that is a lot of lights I can add on there. So we're going to add, first off, I'm going to add a blinker left and a blinker right. And then what else do we have? I want to get some reverse lights on there. Okay, and we're going to do some reverse lights. And then we're also going to throw on some long range reverse lights. So what are these from? Because there's like, these guys are very different than these ones down here. Okay, so if I click off of that, how do I like that? That's pretty good. Okay, so that might get me some more reverse lightage. Okay, we'll leave that way. What about that guy right there? What's that for the deck plating, huh? Oh, those are only 10 bucks. I could do that. And I can afford that. Yeah, we'll do something like that. And then what do we got here? Airlines on sleeper. I like that. So that one. And then okay, that's probably pretty good for now. Confirm order. Okay, and then let's leave the shop. Okay, so now if I go U, high beam, beacon, okay. And then if I put it into reverse, do I get anything out of that? I don't seem to. Okay. So now if I go F2, F2. Apparently those ones don't do anything. Those do seem to do something though. Maybe we'll see if they. Huh. I don't know. Maybe they only work when a trailer's attached? I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So I was going to go pick up a trailer around the corner. Let's do this. A lot of road construction in this little town. It's almost like someone doesn't want me to go somewhere. And there's a train. Actually, I need to go in this one over here. Okay. And we are there. Freight market. Pick you up. Okay, straight ahead, huh? Hey, I've delivered here before, because I recognize that. I did not turn soon enough, and I'm not going to hit that, because that would kind of defeat my whole just having repaired my truck. I can definitely see better in my mirrors now. Let's throw up the alternate mirrors. Excuse me. Okay. Maybe we're gonna get this. There we go. Let's go ahead and attach that. Check our lights here. Whoa! See, now that makes a big difference based off compared to what it was before. I am a fan. I feel like maybe I can actually see what I'm backing up now. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. We've got a 2.5 hour drive ahead of us. We should make it in ample time. Oh. Okay. Now I'll be hanging a left out here. So let's go ahead. Okay, we are cleared there. And hanging another left. Yeah. There's a tank right there. I assume that's probably accurate or something. So how heavy is this guy? Up. 36 tons, huh? Man, for some reason it lost which range I had selected. So, let's do this. Get up to speed. We're going to use all our gears. Oh, I can get rid of my mirrors now. Okay. So, morals. Is it morally wrong to imbibe a substance or partake of a substance that alters your mind state If it's only hurting you, I don't think so. And does it hurt society as a whole? I don't think so. I mean, assuming you use it responsibly. Now, there are some substances out there, and meth always comes to mind, and maybe heroin's in the same in the same category, that I don't think that they're ever hurting or not hurting just that person for very long. But there are other substances that aren't that big of a deal, that we seem to be, as a society, we've taken a stance against them, unnecessarily so, I think. We're okay with alcohol, we're okay with tobacco now, although tobacco has, I'd say for the most part, fallen out of vogue. There's nothing necessarily wrong with them. Obviously, tobacco hurts your health, but if you're an adult making that decision, I guess that's a decision that you're allowed to make. So youth or a minor making that decision, I think, ought to be controlled, as it's something that can, and I'm totally cutting people off over here, that can seriously affect, one's future. But as an adult, that's your decision and should probably be respected as your personal decision. Again, back to my two guiding principles, and this is an evolving idea, but the two guiding principles: are you hurting somebody else? Are you harming somebody else? I guess hurting may not be the correct term always, but are you harming someone else? If you are, then that behavior ought to be stopped. That's it, and I would consider it immoral behavior. Does marijuana fall into that category? Does alcohol fall into that category? Probably not. But if you're harming other people, then it's something that ought to not be pursued. The second one is, are you increasing the well-being of yourself or somebody else? Well, if so, then it's probably something that should be pursued, assuming the first criteria still is applicable, and assuming you're not harming anybody else. If you harm somebody else in order to increase your well-being or another person's well-being, then that becomes not okay at that point. And a good example I see of that is, in America, we have, we're the richest country in the world. Don't know how much longer it'll stay that way, but we're currently the richest country in the world. And yet we have children who went to sleep or are going to sleep tonight without enough food. They didn't get to eat. That's morally reprehensible, I think. And something should be done about that, and I feel like that's something, even on the legal sense, something should be done about that. On the flip side, you have people who have a net worth of billions of dollars, and in order to gain that net worth, somebody had to suffer. I mean, you don't gain that kind of money by paying as much as you ought to your employees. And so maybe at some point we as a society should be stepping in and saying, well, merit-based increase, and we can talk about merit-based increase, is a good thing, is it motivates people to pursue things they might not otherwise do. But, that was close. And it's now down to 65. Ooh, that was way close, with a copper right there and everything. Anyway, and you say, well, does somebody really need a net worth of $3 billion or even $300 million when there are people who are going without, who don't have enough food, don't have a roof over their heads, don't have these things that they need. They don't have the basic necessities of life. And yet I've got, 4 houses and 2 yachts and 7 cars and whatever else, I have that I've spent this wealth on. And maybe we as a society should be stepping in and saying, no, that's morally reprehensible, and that's just too much. I'm okay for somebody getting paid more for more work or whatever, or even lucking out to an extent, which I would argue is the larger case. But at some point, it's just too much, and we need to, as a society, decide what that point is and step in and do something about it. I love the retarder, especially as I come into a town and I don't feel like I should be using my Jake brake if I want to be somewhat realistic about it. The retarder helps a lot on the slowdown process without nearly so loud. Now, admittedly, I could have a truck that had a quieter exhaust, and then it wouldn't be such a big deal to use the engine brake, but I don't currently have that. And in fact, my main reason for buying this truck was that it was one that I could afford. So, although it's a beautiful truck, and I don't want to have people thinking that I don't like the truck. I kind of wish I had bought I think I've got the Freightliner Argosy mod on. I kind of wish I had bought that, although I think I'd run into a problem where my truck disappears because it's no longer compatible with the new version, and then I end up having to maintain an older version of the game. Oh, hey, Eduardo. Okay, I've got to check again, because I thought I had a thing turned on that should be reading off everybody's. And I'm not seeing. Apparently, by creating an event, I made it where it's not reading off the right chat. I guess that's something to be aware of. But see, I see somebody watching. Sorry, I'm looking at my little reader thing, trying to figure out how to get it to read the right chat. And I don't think that I can. Hey, anyway, Eduardo, welcome to the stream. I'm just blabbering. I'm about to make the delivery and probably call it a night, but I'm glad to have you on in the meantime. Actually, I don't remember what I was just saying. Oh, the truck. I really like the Peterbilt 389, but I do wonder if there would be a way to make it have not such a loud Jake brake or engine brake, so that I would feel better about using that at night, because obviously a loud Jake brake is not necessary for the Jake brake to be effective. That also means that my truck would have to sound different, but I might have to look into that at some point and see. In the meantime, I'll continue to use the retarder. I specifically bought a retarder, or a tranny with a retarder, so that I would be able to use it on heavy loads like this. I'm currently hauling 36 tons, I think, which isn't insanely heavy, but the retarder still makes a big difference on the slowdown process. So is that where I'm... Oh, I'm delivering to HMS right there. Okay. So, one of these, huh? I'm gonna go into this far lane. And sorry, Mr. Ambulance, but I need my space. And I killed the engine, apparently. There we go. Let's see where they need it. Go figure. Okay, so I've got to... and I'm totally gonna hit over there. I'm almost wondering if I should have come in from a different side to deliver over there. Still haven't figured out the best way to do this delivery here. We'll see if we can nail it this time. You know what? I'm cheating on this because I am not going to be able to deliver it otherwise. Yes, it is a Peterbilt. Hey, I heard that one from you. That one came through on my speech to chat thingy. So yes, I like the Peterbilt 389. It's probably, in the American Truck Simulator side, it's probably my favorite truck, frankly. And I've found, since playing this, that I find myself watching for them in real life. And luckily, I do see them quite a bit. Actually, my favorite truck might be the Kenworth K100, but that's a different thing altogether. So I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to get this in there. Because if I pull, let's see, if I pull in up there, we'll give this a try. Yes, the Peterbilt 389 is a beautiful looking truck. I think that it was Peterbilt's appeal to people who love trucks, frankly. I mean, they did a good job at designing that truck, and you know, at this point it's not being produced anymore, but I think they did a good job at appealing to their audience on that one. Okay, we'll see if I can get it to come around for me in time. I might actually be able to. But then there's that. And I'm totally not going to make it here. Oh. And I'm not quite sure where to go with this. I thought I got started out pretty well, but I'm not so sure where to go at this point. Okay, so we're gonna crank it in that way just a bit. I may just have to, you know what I've got to do? That's what I've got to do. I know what I've got to do. Okay. Okay. We're going to back it in off the road, I'm pretty sure. Thanks. I think that you probably gathered from the stream name, but I'm actually playing on the realistic, it's Class's realistic economy mod, which means that money matters a lot. And so I'm being very careful what I spend my money on, which is actually one of my motivators for buying this truck. It's the only truck that I could buy this early in my game. But also, the modifications come at a steep price. So I'm kind of... Okay, I'm going to throw my hazards on here. So I'm not doing much in the way of modifications. In fact, I just barely did a modification to get some better reverse lights so I can see better. Okay, I need to come forward just a little bit more. Please do not pull up and block my way. Thank you. we'll see if my plan's working here. I was thinking I need to back in and then swing it around once I get inside, but we'll see if that's actually what the case is. Oh, other way. I realize that you're frustrated back there. The camera's gonna freak out here. Oh, am I supposedly hitting over there? You know what? I may actually call it a night and not park it. So once I get in here to where I can hit my selector, I think I'm just going to call it. There we go. Well, I was originally going to park it, but I don't think I'm going to now. Yeah, it is. I think I'm just going to skip it, mainly because I'm reaching the end of when I plan to stream anyway. But yeah, that was a lot harder than I was expecting. Last time I did a parking job there, the trailer that was in front of me was not there. And so it ended up being a very different parking experience. Anyway, let's see if my trailer's still there. I should have snapped a shot before I... Yeah, okay. Okay, we are going to go to the photo studio and we're going to get a picture here. And then I've got a couple more choices on, or another choice on what I want to run. That's not all that great of a photo. Let's see. Okay, something like that. We'll swing it this way a little bit and capture a screenshot. Well, thanks for those who hopped on. Eduardo, thanks for joining. But I think I'm going to call it a night. Until next time.